Alright everybody, MTG Metalhead from MTG Archives here, trying to do another playtest video. This one's going to be a little different. So we are a little under a month away from the Atlanta Regionals, and we are doing a lot of playtesting, a lot of it offline, honestly. Playtesting different variations, trying to find the right build. But there is one particular player who is pretty well known for this deck. He's actually the one who put it on the map. Now, he wasn't the only one playing it. Not to own horn, I was, playing it last year during the regional season. But regardless, Patrick Wu is the one who ended up coming in, I think it was second at the Canadian regionals with it. And he did amazing with the deck. And he is pretty well known for it. And he's done a lot of different versions of the deck, innovating different builds. So I follow him pretty closely with what he does. And for anybody interested in getting his take on things and kind of picking his brain about it, I highly suggest subscribing to his Patreon. But regardless, I do, for what it's worth. And this is kind of one of the lists he's working with, or at least a variation of one of the lists he's working with. He, as you can tell, has changed the list quite a bit. So I'm going to talk to you about that. Looking at this list, you can see there's no strict proctors, which is a huge change. Of course, we now have the 4 Get Lost in the deck, also pretty big change, having 4 of main. We've got 2 Temp Lockdowns, which has become kind of ubiquitous with most blue-white Lotus Field builds, so that's not that surprising. In place of Proctor, we have 3 Tails End. His reasoning is he's not as focused in this build on trying to get the combo of Lotus Field plus one of your ways to cheat it into play. Instead, this is more of kind of a thing where it's playing really powerful cards that sometimes allow you to put it into play without having to sacrifice lands, but ultimately you can just use these as really amazing spells in the game, as this is a very versatile counter spell, gets around certain triggers that can be really important. Same thing, Discontinuity just ends the turn, and then sometimes you just combine those with your Lotus Field in order to cheat it into play. So it really just depends, but you're just not as focused on it. And in fact, he's talked about how he's had many opportunities to do the thing where on turn 3 you can play Lotus Field and counter the trigger with Tails In, and he just hasn't done it. He just tried to play a normal blue-white game, just playing regular lands, trying to get them down to be able to use the Tails In as a counter spell. So that has been something he's done, and he says he's done this because the meta has shifted, in his opinion, to be less impacted by Strict Proctor, meaning Strict Proctor is not as good as a temporary lockdown, and of course those two fight each other, as the one stops ETBs, the other relies on it, so that can be important. And he's also decided to kind of change up the way the strategy is. It's again focused more like a regular blue-white deck with the potential to combo the Lotus Field and have a lot of mana acceleration with Teferi, and that's kind of what it's doing. It plays a 1 of Search for Azcanta as a way to dig, have card advantage, as a replacement as the 4th Teferi. Is up to 3 Wandering Emperor. We're taking away the Foretelled Doomscars in order to play Supreme Verdict. And we also have 3 Shark Typhoon main, only 2 Farewell now. And the mana base is another place we really want to dive into real quickly. Which is, if you notice in the mana base, there is a few new cards, 5 in specific. We have this card called Restless Anchorage, which is a good utility land. It's a blue-white land, comes with tap, but also becomes a 2/3 creature that can give us map tokens, which can be important later in the game. And then we also, as well as a win cone, and then we also have Sunken Citadel, which at first when I saw this, I got really confused because I didn't understand why he was playing it. And then I read his description. I'm like, okay, that does help a lot. I can kind of see. I'm not necessarily, with him yet, but I can see where he's coming from. Basically, what he said is its ability to use 2 mana for land abilities. It makes your Otawara be able to do things for 3 rather than for 4. You can tap 3 lands for it instead of 4. It allows you to use the Thespian stage, and instead of having to have 2 other lands plus Thespian stage to copy, you just need to have 1 of these plus Thespian stage in order to copy, so it lets you do it a little quicker. It also makes activations on this a little less, so it's 1 mana to activate this 2/3, or 5 mana for the Hall of the Storm Giants. Castle Vantress becomes 4 mana instead of 5 in order to use, and so on and so forth. So it accelerates your ability to use your utility lands a lot more effectively. It does suck that it's a slow tap land that comes to play only produces 1 color, but he said, we're already a slow come to play tap deck anyway, so that doesn't really affect anything. Now looking at the sideboard. Sideboard's drastically different if you take a look. Very, very different from our older list. We have 2 Lanterns of the Lost, which I've never been very high on, if I'm being honest, but because of Obtaining Phoenix, I do understand it. We have 4 Vetoes, of course. 1 Verdict, again, another way to deal with creature removal and stuff that we need to. 2 Aether Gust, of course, because first of all, powerful. 2 Narset Reversal, not too surprising. It's been kind of a staple of the deck. 1 Temporary Lockdown in the main, so we have up to 3 post sideboard and 3 Mystical Disputes. So he feels like this is kind of what we need to fight against in sideboard. I'm also, at least me personally, I do have it on my radar that these newer Cascade decks, as you call it, I'm still going to call it Cascade, for the new mechanic from Ixalan, there's some combo potential where they can just one-shot you. They just get a bunch of creatures that clone each other until they get one that gives them haste, and then they attack you and you die. So it may be a consideration to start using Settle the Wreckage again, but at least for now, we're not doing that. And lastly on here, the last thing I want to kind of go over is kind of what our game plan is here. Actually, sorry, I did miss something. So you also notice there's a Behold in Multiverse. This actually isn't part of his list, and this is unfortunately because we playtest with Arena. He plays a 1 of Dig Through Time, which honestly is not available on Arena, and unfortunately we don't have another equivalent that we can really use. So Behold is our draw 2 card of choice that we can play. Obviously it's not as powerful, I do understand that, but it's the best replacement we have until we get, the Khans of Torkir block on Arena, which should be coming pretty soon. But anyway, until then, this is what we're playing as this replacement to play test a little bit. Okay. So our game plan is just to play a couple games. We're not going to play like a whole big league and stuff. Maybe not a 2-hour video like we have in the past. But just to kind of play test his version of the deck, see how it feels. If I like how it feels, I may do some more videos on it. But this is just kind of testing the waters. Because I'll be really honest, just to blatantly throw it out there. When I saw his take on the deck and his reasons behind it, I about shit a brick. Because I'm just like, what? I don't agree with his assessments at all. Now granted, he's a way more accomplished Magic player than me, so I could be the idiot here. I completely acknowledge that, and I understand that. But when I listen to his kind of dissection of the meta, at least again if you're subscribed to his Patreon, if you read on there what he's wrote, I don't agree at all. He basically thinks the Strict Proctor's bad in the meta right now, and he said that Temporary Lockdown's way better, which Temporary Lockdown is good in the meta right now. Don't get me wrong, but Strict Proctor is also very, very good. Like, one of the main reasons you want Temporary Lockdown or other cards like that is because the kind of increase in aggressive strategy decks, so things that produce a lot of 1-drops, whether that be Humans, whether that be Boros Convoke, or even Boros Heroic. So obviously Temporary Lockdown's good in those scenarios, but also, Strict Proctor's pretty good there too, and it already had a lot of matchups it just decently hated on anyway, like Fires and stuff like that. So I don't agree that Strict Proctor's bad in the meta. I understand it's not the greatest top deck late game in the games, but its combo potential is why you play it. So that's the reason you stick it in your deck. So I don't necessarily agree with that. I also in the sideboard am just at a loss as to how there are no thought distortions. It's like, how the hell do you ever expect to beat Lotus Field combo? Like, it's just gonna tear you apart if you don't have those in your sideboard. So I'm just kind of a little lost on where he's coming from with this thought process and his version of the deck. I don't agree with it. I feel like if you're going to lean more into the control route, which is what he said he's doing, I feel like you're just playing a bad version of blue-white control at that point. Because like, if you're going to be blue-white control, just be blue-white control. Like, that deck archetype does exist and is very good and has been very, I won't say very good, but it's decent in the meta and has been an established archetype in deck. Blue-White Lotus Field is not the same thing. They're night and day. They can perform similarly, but they are not the same archetype, very obviously. And I feel like when you play a deck like this and this version of it, you're really just trying to do a middle ground between Blue-White Control and Blue-White Lotus Field. And I think if you're trying to play a worse version of both decks, then you're doing just that, playing a worse version of both decks. So I'm not a person that subscribes to that philosophy. I feel like if you're leaning into a direction, just lean into it. So if you're going to be Lotus Field, make sure you lean into the combo. If you're not going to be Lotus Field, then, play Blue-White Control. But trying to do this middle ground approach, I don't think will work well. But he according to him, he has 5-0 to League and 4-1 to a couple others. So he's had some decent results with it, and he's going to play test further. But at least me outside looking in, I don't like it. We'll see. Anyway, let's jump into some games and test this out. Right against Ranging Raptors. Alright. Alright, we'll keep this. Okay, spirits, great. And this is counter target. It's like this reverse spirits, what I thought. Okay. Well, Supreme Verdict's gonna come in handy here. I think this is gonna have to be on white. So ordinarily I would want to play this Search for Azcanta and get it down. But the problem is, I don't think we can afford to. I think we just gotta hold up the Discontinuity. Because our opponent's obviously gonna try to flash something in. Now, if our opponent wants to eat it with a Mausoleum Wonder, then so be it. Sure. They'd rather have a Rattle Chains. So here we are going to go ahead and play the Search for Azcanta. And let resolve. I'm going to name this in white. Sure. You have all the Rattle Chains. Yeah, keep that on top. Okay, so my assumption here is he has a flash thing that comes into play that'll exile a Supreme Verdict. Now, we have another copy, so I think our plan here is to play the Supreme Verdict, let him exile it, get in an attack of the next turn Verdict again. So I think that's going to be our best play right now. Or he's going to slip out the back one. Just lets it happen. Not what I expected to happen there. Nothing graveyard. We'll just pass it. We're going to let him attack. We're going to take it. We're going to try to Emperor. He's going to counter it. Which is fine. 4 or 5. We'll put it in the graveyard because we don't have enough plans for it yet. Just going to turn. Ooh, we'll just make it 3-3. Sure. Okay. Other counter spell, sure. I think we got this game pretty far under control. Ooh, I like that. I'll spell it. Sure. Seems fine to me. So doing that, unfortunately, doesn't do anything. That is kind of sucky. What do I want to do here? Probably just break, right? I don't know, it doesn't do anything though. Alright, now shift Lotus Field.
Right on schedule. Let's skip to the good part.
Okay. I see. Sure. Okay, now I'm going to do blue. Let's add 2. Blue. Activate. Anything is got, what has it got? Disturb, lifelink, protection for vampires. That doesn't do anything. Fuck it.
Time is much more narrow than people.
We'll play this. And your turn. I mean, sure. Like, I really don't know what they're trying to do here. But, whatever. Pretty sure after I get these Shark Typhoons, I'm probably going to seed. Blue. Blue. And... 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't think we need to do anything else. Already done that, already done that. We'll go and play replacement Teferi, yeah. Because even if he counters it...
If you show remorse, you know what?
Okay, there we go. I was gonna say, come on now. Okay, against them. I will say this new build is definitely a lot better against, specifically like spirits. It's definitely a lot better against them. And there's 3. Find one of those. One of those. So 2 more cards to cut down on. Very well, it's probably just a little too many. 4, 6, 9, 11, 13, 15. Perfect. Tilson's not as good though. It's not the best, but I think it's fine. So Cavern changes things. Write this on blue. Gonna make our mystical disputes pretty bad. Late game would be a little better when they're like double spelling, but at least for now, it's not gonna be very good. Yeah, what am I gonna do? You have a cavern, man. I don't know what you want from me. I'm gonna do my search for Azcanta. So grab my land drops. No, it's not a land, so yeah. That's also not a land. Well, that sucks, but it is what it is. I mean, unfortunately, that'll probably just resolve, but I think what we're gonna do here is go ahead and discontinuity. If they want to counter it, that's fine. Sure. That's a clock. Not gonna lie. Graveyard. Six, 7. Well, we gotta hope to goodness they don't have a counter spell for this, because if they do, that's gonna suck. But I mean, it is what it is. They did not have a counter spell for it. 4, 8, 10. Temp Lockdown doesn't survive a slip out the back. It's a good card though. We'll keep it. Shit. That sucks. If they have slip out the back, we're dead. I don't think we can do anything about it though. I didn't think about the fact that this has to produce white mana. Fuck. Oh well. If they have it, they did not have it. Well, we punted and didn't get punished somehow for that. I will keep that on top. Thank you. Okay. Now I feel a lot better. I know they can't counter this, so I'm just gonna slam it. Because I don't think they can beat that card. Resolved. You know what? You got it. Yes, perfect. Transforms. That was exactly what we wanted. White mana. Oh, that's a 3-mana card. Probably like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm being retarded by what I'm doing. I don't want you to have this, okay?
Hurry.
Just concede. For some reason, I was thinking that was a 2-drop in my head. That's why I tried the Temp Lockdown, by the way. Sorry about that, guys. I was just being stupid. Well, this build is definitely better against spirits. I will definitely give it that much. That's for sure. Which makes sense, though. It's more like regular blue-white control, which was fine against spirits because Supreme Verdict. That's the big change there. Against HRO Mata. Sure. Not sure what this hand does yet, but it's a hand. Well, that's not good. We're gonna name on blue. Ah. Some sort of reanimator deck? Ah, no, it's a Greasefang deck. Well, that is unfortunate. If they have the land next turn, then we are very dead. So, gotta make them think we have something. They didn't have that, that's good. I think we just keep playing out like a regular deck here. I don't think we tried to do anything Lotus Field yet. They had the Greasefang. We have the Wrath. Let's see what damage is this. 5, 9, 13, 15. It puts me to 1. Let's see. And that thing can just be unearthed, which will kill me. Yeah, I'm dead. Because we can Wrath, but unfortunately it doesn't matter because it'll just resurrect their mutt and then we're dead. Definitely want some lanterns. Lockdown does absolutely nothing. Verdict is fine to clear the way. What do I not want here? Definitely love those. Want all these. This is less good. I think that's fine. Yeah. Which our graveyard's not really, or not graveyard. Our sideboard's not built very well against this specific deck. This hand has removal and potential. I'm going to keep it. We're also playing against a Thoughtseize deck, so them being able to Thoughtseize and answer, I want to have backup stuff. So if I can draw a blue source, then I have Discontinuity plus Lotus Field, which is pretty good. It's not the best hand I've ever had, but I also don't think we're mulliganing against a Thoughtseize deck is very good either. So. Well, looks like they did the thing again. And we're going to be missing land drops because we cannot afford to play the Lotus Field here. That's fine. We have 3 answers, buddy. You are not comboing. It is not happening. You stop us from cheating our land. I will use 1 gust. The reason we do this is because we want to save 1 damage. We're not going to do anything drastic to us this turn anyway. Oh, let's have second scrap them up. Okay. But I know, bro, we are doing this thing. Okay. Well, fair enough. We're at 20. I don't think we can afford to not do it, but I also think they're very easily telling that they have something. Just have to let them go. Sure. We'll get rid of this that you know about, and this that you know about. Actually, no. This that you know about. That one's fine. That one is upgrading.
And you think you can win? Don't overthink things. Fine. I know when I'm not wanted.
Well, that's funny. Yeah, sorry. I was holding control, and for some reason it did not let me take priority, which really sucks. So that was a weird game. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I was holding control, but for some reason it just didn't register that I was or something, and it went straight to the trigger, which sucks. Yeah, but then we're very dead once that happens. Let's get into round number 3 against the last Reda. Hopefully we don't make any more punts. That seems fine. Tapped. Play Hull next turn. Alright, well, Thoughtseize away, my friend. I would take Memory. Yeah, makes sense. Play Hull pass. Sure. Not exactly what I wanted to draw here. We'll do this on blue. Exactly what we wanted to draw here. White. That's fine. Oh, we're in a verdict here. Now they're gonna play Shieldred. Oh, really? Yeah.
When I win, you're telling me what I'm tired of your secrets.
Well, apparently I'm not allowed to draw anything but lands here.
We all have things we'd rather forget.
I don't know if it's ever gonna matter, but we're gonna copy. We're gonna copy Den. Copy Den. So nothing. Okay. 4, 5, 6. And I've gotta play this. And that's it. So we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. Pass. Pass. I'm gonna draw a card because they only have this card in their hand. Sure. Oh, that sucks. That really sucks. I think we have to let it resolve. I think we have to. Sure.
Don't overthink things.
So we got that. What do we do against the creatures though? Just 2 of them?
Fine. I'll take my zombies and leave.
I'm a little confused here. is a toughie, but I think, yeah. Okay, wants to do a little emote at me. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Alright, so against them. What do we want to do? Temp Lockdown's not that good. Probably our worst one. Draw spells are all great. Typhoon is fine. Surge is pretty great. Tail is decent. A lot of planeswalkers. If they don't have a Thoughtseize on one, then we get to do the thing. If they do have a Thoughtseize on one, it sucks. I mean, what can you do against Thoughtseize.deck? They don't have a Thoughtseize on one. We're gonna try to Thoughtseize this here, maybe? I knew it. Get out of here with that bullshit. Control. Alright, full control. Blue. Blue. Okay.
Let's skip to the good part.
Here comes Shelly B. Oh, you just thought seizing me. Okay. Takes a second to carry, I assume. I'm not letting that happen. You're not gonna get a crew it, man. No, thank you.
Keep up the pace.
Not as good, unfortunately, but so we'll do this. So what do we do here? So this is going to sound weird, but I think we're going to go ahead and do it to our own planeswalker so they can't exile
This is
it.
hardly my worst.
Sure. Do you want to do that? I don't think so. I think we'd rather hold that, to be honest. You got it. You got it. I think here we'll do it.
You started this fight, but I'm going to end it.
Guards, to me!
Not exactly what I wanted, but okay.
We must protect the people.
There isn't anything else there. Don't want to play that yet. They know they're gonna get farewell anyway. Probably. Okay. Thought I kept this back there.
Enough with the mysteries.
Sure.
I've come for answers. I'm tired of your secrets.
Never thought about that. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Okay. Now we're gonna do this. Exile artifacts, all graveyards, all enchantments.
I have got new moves to teach you.
We all have things we'd rather forget.
Sure.
Guards, to me!
Okay. Sure. I got a minus. Yep, you got it.
Haven't you ever heard of personal space?
Actually, that one I do kind of want. But the problem is, it's not going to matter. My turn. Wow. Wow. Okay. Well.
Show them how we greet our enemies.
I don't think the extra mana is going to matter.
Don't overthink things.
Ooh. Alright, we're gonna play another one. And then I'll give my final verdict on it. My thoughts on it. Straw head here in round number 4. I guess we'll keep it, though the hand's not exactly what I would call strong. Blue. Another black-red deck, yay. Here we're just gonna conserve life. I guess we'll still do it, doesn't really matter. Okay. So here I want to go to Teferi plus Emperor, I think.
Let's slow this. We need to move quickly.
Just concede. Okay. And that's fair. Okay, so yeah, I'm not exactly sure the best way to board against them. No, we definitely don't want those two cards. This is less good, kind of good. I think this is probably our worst card in the deck by far. Since we're not all in on the combo, I think that's how we're going to try to board this time. So the card we don't want them to take the most is probably Shark Typhoon. Just because cycling is really powerful with how our hand is kind of shaping up. I guess they took that to negate combo potential, which makes sense, I suppose. We'll play the Hengegate on white and pass our turn. We'll either guess that. We just want to set our opponent back on tempo. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's too funny. For Shelly. I think we are going to cycle this for 0. Okay, so we did not unfortunately get anywhere with that. That's unfortunate. Yeah, we have no answers to Shelly whatsoever. However, we can do that. Yeah, no, I think we just aether gust that. Damn it, I'm gonna get my damn token. They shoved with both. That is unfortunate. You hit that removal spell, we did get it. Put me a 3 here. Sorry back, guys. I got a phone call there. That hand is atrocious, but I keep it. I'll keep a lot of loose hands against Thoughtseize decks. Thoughtseize win, my friend. Or dress. That's fine. You do you, boo. Never didn't. Ooh. Oh, and I caught that. Alright, so I'm gonna do this just in case. Blue, white, control. I am holding. What's that? Full control. Control. So they're stuck on 2 lands, and yep, you gotta take the Teferi here. Which sucks for them because it doesn't ultimately matter if they take the Teferi, because me having Memory Deluge plus Teferi is bad for them. It means they can't cut me off my card advantage. So it looks like me and my opponent both kept kind of loose hands. Has to be the Teferi, bro. Don't get me wrong. I wish you would take the Teferi, but real world here. That's what you're gonna take. Alright, so we go 1, 2. Take that plus that. Three, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so there's nothing they can do against a resolved Hall or a resolved Shark Typhoon. Okay. Okay, round 5. Against Go JD. Alright. That's a hand. Haven. Nothing we can really do there. I would still rather play this one though. On white. Because in case they play Kiora or Karn on the next turn, I'll just play and troll. just ramp them if we do anything else. Unfortunately. Any 3 drops we want to do? Not really. Blue. Cavalier, yep, that's gonna happen. So I don't like it, but here I think we have to get lost their Cavalier. They're just going to buy back their other Cavalier, but that allows us to get rid of their Troll on the next turn. Do that. Interesting. We will pay 2 life.
I hope you're ready to move. This is what you get for hurting my people.
It's kind of assumed at this point that's going to happen. Super funny if they go up to Stone Brain just to cast it and pass their turn, and then I get it like temp lockdown them. Oh, they should go for Pithing Needle. Sure. Which one to name? The second thing is giving Karn another turn is going to really suck because it means that they're going to tutor for probably Stonebrain, which will nab our farewell. It's going to be kind of rough, I'll be honest, if he does that. Nope, just does not Teferi. Well, we'll do this on white. We will plus. Actually, no, we'll just make a guy. No, we'll plus.
Remember your training.
So we can't stop them from tutoring whatever they're going to tutor here. You got it, buddy.
My purpose is greater than myself.
That's not what I expected. Sure. Okay, I gotta think here. So I think here we make it 2/2. Then we go next, I'll attack.
I will endure.
Play that.
We've got the edge to this fight.
We'll hold up the Otawara for their God Pharaoh. Yeah, sure. Sure. I think just recast it is the problem. That's true. I think what we're going to do is... That's it.
May your blade strike true.
And then just concede. Okay. Okay. They just straight concede to us, okay. Alright, let's do a wrap up. So, what's our takeaway? So we had 5 matches. Round 1 we played against Blue White Spirits and smashed them. Round 2 we played against John de Greasefang and they smashed us. Now granted, game 2 we could have had a chance, but we unfortunately, I don't know what happened there. We had control held, but apparently it didn't take effect and it didn't allow us to keep our lands and we just conceded to save time. So that round we lost. Then we lost a round against Black Red Mid, and then we won a round against Black Red Mid, and then we won a game against Mono Green. So as far as performance is concerned, it still basically does the same thing against Mono Green and and Black Red as it did before. It's a very varied matchup between Black Red. You have chances to get them, they have chances to get you. One thing I will say is it did feel a little worse against Black Red Mid with this version. Without cards like without Strict Proctor, you don't cheat the lands into play as much, which means you very rarely ever mana excel. Like if you noticed, the match we won against Black Red was all about mana acceleration. Like our ability to just get out ahead on mana on them is what got us those games. Now granted, our opponent was stuck on 2 lands, but like my hand wasn't great either, so we both, like one of us had to get lucky. And obviously I did. But I still contend that the mana acceleration is what got me that match. And not relying on the combo I think hurts. And I think also your card advantage spells suffer. As much as I love Shark Typhoon, playing him in high numbers, just cycling doesn't do as much as say an Impulse does, which takes you for specific answers. Or as much as say I've been testing recently without the Beanstalk, which draws 3 or 4 cards on average per match when you resolve it. So it just doesn't give you as much card advantage, and that's really key in those matchups to be able to win, is you have to get over in cards in them and mana in order to basically come out ahead, because their cards are just so much more efficient than yours. They're the most powerful cards at those mana curve costs, and so for those colors, so you have to be prepared to bring your A game, because your cards are more expensive, but they will do more in the late game, which is what drives you to come out ahead once you're able to resolve them. Tail's End was fine. It's been about the same as it's been in other times I've tested it. It's I want to say mediocre. It's not a bad card. It's not as strong as Strict Proctor. Strict Proctor can stop multiple Lotus Field triggers, as Tail's End only stops 1. And Tail's End being able to counter a legendary spell or planeswalker, sure, that's cool, but not being able to do anything after is just not very great. So I'm not a huge fan of this. The Search was great. I will say that Search was awesome all day long. The problem with Search is it competes with so many other slots in the deck. So I could definitely see it being a 1-of in either version. Like that might be something that we want to think about. But outside of that, the Search, I will say though, I liked it when I was able to resolve it. It did a lot of work. So that was fun. Get Lost, as always, been really great. Temporary Lockdowns in the main, again, didn't really see a lot because we didn't play against a lot of the matchups where it was going to be the most relevant. So that didn't really come up a whole lot. That Sunken Citadel, it was neat that you could make it more cheap to use Thespian Stage or Otawara or Castle Vantress or any of those. Like, that's neat. But it never really played a significant role. Like, there was never a situation I was in where, because of having directly that I was able to do something that I could not have otherwise been able to do. So I don't see that as mattering, because, like, for example, one of the things he said is being able to do it a turn earlier with this. With the Lotus Field, it doesn't make any sense, because here's the problem. In order for you to be able to take advantage of that 2-mana swing, you'd have to be able to do this on turn 2 or turn 3. But the problem with turn 3 is if you do it on turn 3, you still have to sack 2 lands. So you're still only left with the 1 Lotus Field at the end, even if you copy it. So that doesn't, I mean, yeah, that's a powerful effect, but it doesn't do anything if you're on turn 3. Being able to do it on turn 4, well, then you get to save, 1 open mana, and you have no 1-drop spells in your deck. So keeping that 1 mana up doesn't do anything if you're doing it on turn 4. So that doesn't really do anything, and I don't think it's worth the cost of coming to play tapped. I just don't. I don't think that's very good. It's cool with Search for Azcanta, but even that, again, didn't come up that often that matters. So I don't like that very much at all. Everything else was fine. As far as the sideboard, Lantern of the Lost never really came up. It doesn't do enough against graveyard matchups, which is what I've always contended and why I've never really liked the card. Aether Gust was fine. The Mystical Disputes did absolutely nothing. Because of Cavern of Souls, it just completely, destroys this. Now, in other control matchups, obviously it's different, but in other control matchups, there's just better cards you can play in your sideboard, like Thought Distortion, so I don't understand his wanting to move to a Mystical Disputes either. Not a big fan of that. So I'm not a big fan of how he changed the sideboard. About the only card that I was like, okay, that is superb, that was a big change outside of maybe the Search, was the Supreme Verdict. Like, the Supreme Verdict was a house. The Supreme Verdict was an absolute house whenever I was able to land. And not being able to be countered mattered a lot against the Spirits deck. Being 4 mana made it be able to be curved easily. So I like that a lot, but also it was also kind of negative because your opponent could Thought Seize it. So you couldn't foretell it like Doomscar. So there's trade-offs on what's good and what's bad about that. But overall, I think my takeaway is that I'm not swayed on my opinion from the beginning. I do not think these changes he made are good. I still think that if you're going to go the route that he's wanting to go, just be straight blue-white control. Don't play the Lotus Field combo in it. Like, any viewers listening, I would suggest that. Like, if you're more comfortable playing the control aspect, then just play straight blue-white control. Use the stock list, go based off that, and alter it to your meta or expectation of meta. But you do not need to play this version if you're trying to play a blue-white variant. You want to play either the original, at least so far, version with like impulses and stuff like that, or if you want to play the Up the Beanstalk version, there's a few versions of that you can look into playing, depending on, again, what you expect the meta to be, or play just, again, straight up blue-white control, or even Lotus combo, depending on what your interests are. But regardless, that's been my takeaway, testing out Patrick Wu's newest version of this deck. Not a big fan of it. Big disappointment, unfortunately. Not gonna lie, I was hoping that whenever he came out with his list before regionals, I was gonna be like, oh yeah, this is what I was missing, but I don't think this is it. I mean, I'm glad he does well. I mean, he's obviously a good Magic player. That's why he does well, but I'm not liking this list so far. We'll keep it up to date with alterations he does, kind of see what happens, and we'll test where we go or any changes I make, but we'll see. Anyway, guys, that'll do it for this one. Until next time, see ya.